G'day, g'day, g'day. Mathematical KM here. Remember, their initials, not a title. Keith Mullumby. Be interesting to see what happens when we creep into December to the old rating, but currently still 1449. And we're playing Kalman D, who is working on getting a rating, but he's definitely got some runs on the board. 2 and 2 with white, and 2 and 3, no draws, with black pieces with standard games in our local Canberra Chess Club. So in this game, Kalman's got the white and I have got the black. And let's see how it transpires. Okay, we'll just keep going until we see something that takes us away from the standard first 10 moves of getting the old thick-skinned hippo set up. There you go. Thumbs up. We've got the full thick-skinned hippo and roughly 10 minutes ahead on the clock at this point in time. One of the advantages of the opening. Most of the time. Excuse me, the old fisherman's friend. And okay, so thoughts at this point. He's brought both his knights over to this side. My king's not over there yet. You know, castle late, so as late as move 30, one of the recent games, with the old hippopotamus. But that's interesting. Now, both of these pawns, central pawns that you tend to look at when you're working out your attack plan with the hippo, you normally don't go for the one with a major piece directly behind it. Well, in this case, that's both of them. So, thoughts. We've got the pawn forward, knight, knight, meeting his knights with my knights and have at, and then potentially castling queenside. Be one plan. This pawn forward is off the cards because of if there's a bishop on this diagonal, you can't move the flank pawn. This one to get 2 pieces against 2 pieces on this pawn, but again, you don't normally go for a central pawn that's directly to a major piece. Can't get more major than the queen. So and of course you've got the getting a second piece onto that one. It is protected by a rook and a knight from him. That would get me to 2. 2 pieces versus 2, which isn't quite enough. But this is, I think, Hippo number 97 in my directory there, saved in chess.com in the library. And something I haven't played with very often is getting the queen where that rook is to have a battery, so it's 2 pieces. And the knight, 3 pieces. He's only got 3 versus 2 that way. So I thought, approaching the 100 hippos this year in the year of the waterhorse, let's try something along those lines. So it's called a mistake. And yes, I obviously did need to think about what if it, and let's see. That would be E5. Would be Bishop B3 is the suggested move. Interesting. Bringing that pawn forward wasn't really on the cards. He plays C3 to give himself... It's actually kind of common having C3 when the knights go the other way, just to get the extra protection on the D pawn. It's a mistake. Computer doesn't like my plan of getting that battery. Knight times E4. Now that is interesting. I've got 2. He has got 2. Would I really win? Okay. So he's sending the pawns. It's actually like a mirror image of my pawns, if you look at it, which is interesting. What it doesn't do is it doesn't stop. Considered a miss, but now I am building the pressure on that e-pawn. I've got 3 pieces. He's only got the 2. So how will white react? Bishop to d3 would have been one way of getting another piece. The knight coming back is getting a 3rd piece. So my opponent is obviously very aware that we're fighting over e4 at the moment. And it's 3 versus 3 right now. So what am I going to do, given that we've got 3 versus 3 happening in there? Let's get the king out of the way, because the centre could destroy itself with what's coming. So I thought that let's get the king out of the way. And for Kalman, if he's watching this, the computer really liked backing that pawn with that bishop. What it's worth. But he's increased the protection on that e-pawn. And in many ways, it's a good reaction, I would have thought. It's both the bishop and the queen are biting on granite and unlikely to get through on that diagonal. So, thoughts of repurposing the queen, and the bishop has more of a defensive and adjunct to these pawns. So, and like c5. I like d5 because 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 pieces on d5. And he's got 2. c5, on the other hand, I would have the pawn. That would be it. I'd only have 1 piece. And it wants c5. It's thinking deeper than me. For mine, I've really supported this push with 5 pieces. And he didn't like it on 5 versus 2, so fair enough. So the question is... Oh, and note was attacking the bishop. So decisions to be made here. And at the end of the day, I thought I'd like to take that bishop. And if he takes my knight, I'll just take the pawn back with my bishop, and it will all be pretty sweet. So I take, he takes, I take. What did Sauron do? You got to be careful not to be caught out by this sort of thing. Discovered attack on the H-pawn. Got to look after Harry. Also put that knight there. Are there any imminent major threats from that knight that would be more important than looking after Harry? And the answer is no. So let's look after Harry. Back the bishop up. It was best. Okay, he takes his knight back. Well, 0.0, it is fairly even. That looks like a fairly nice outpost for a knight. And should he take me, it becomes a fairly nice outpost for a bishop. So, it was good. He takes, I take, and that's a fairly good bishop. Brings his queen forward. Now I think he's kind of prepping for maybe c4. c4 now, the bishop can't go here. That wouldn't be there yet. I'd be backing the bishop up. The queen to help the pawn advance. And I thought a lot about, if I go here, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, but he takes. White wins a pawn and the queen's in a pretty good spot for white. Didn't like it. How to avoid that? If I come here, if he takes there, I can even take with the rook, and that's not a bad. It's more support for the bishop. It would be, I don't mind it at all. So, a5 is excellent. And again, him taking and me taking back with the rook is good for me. So b5 is best for white. Okay, so what am I going to do? That bishop's pretty well locked in a good spot. Let's get the queen supporting a pawn push. Okay, so he's brought the bishop across. What did Sauron do? It's a single move threat. Probably want to develop this rook anyway. And rook to d8 facing the queen would have been the best move, and I certainly know that now. Second best is to e8. We played that second best. Second best is an inaccuracy. Okay, kick that bishop out of its outpost. Back we come to the fianchetto. Rook's behind pawns. Rook x-raying queen. Rook x-ray queen. Okay, let's remember that. Okay, the fight for the pawn in front of the queen. d5. d5 is best. Okay. Take. Get it all happening before anything too bad. But he's now got the bishop and the queen supporting his d-pawn. I've got a bishop and a rook. As an attacker, you need one more piece than the number of defenders. Let's go with c5. That's only the old, at the college, a lot of the kids go by the rule that the old hey peasant, en passant, is forced, and that's actually the best move here. I did think it through. If he did take en passant, then I'd be taking back with the bishop, and then that bishop would be threatening a hanging pawn over here, and that's the advantage I was seeking, really, was I think it's better for my pawn structure, and also I'm winning 2 pawns. But he didn't play the en passant. He's gone for 1, 2, 3 pieces defending the pawn. And I smell a tic-tac. I might only have 1, 2, 3. But well, it's not even best, but I have no idea why bishop a8. That might be one of the things to look at on the weekend. But I know the tic-tac I'm going for was c times d4. Now you'll notice that his top 3 moves, well, they're all that edge to black, but bishop to a3. Interesting. h4. Yeah, okay, different theatre of war. And even rook to c2. His top 3 moves are all nothing. They're not having a bar of taking that pawn. You want to know about a poison pawn? Dennis be thy name. And it gets worse if you take... Obviously, you're not going to take with the queen. But I think it's a lot better taking with the knight. Because if you took it with the knight, then I'm not quite ready to go pawn forward. Because otherwise, you could just take the pawn. Even then, the bishop's right onto that rook. Which you wouldn't want to go down the exchange. But, I mean, you're looking at losing the queen or at least losing other material. Point being, if you take with the bishop, pawn forward, you cannot move the bishop without losing your queen. And if you move your queen, well, you lose the bishop to the pawn. And again, top three moves that are all like -1.5 roughly for black are just starting to develop elsewhere and leave the queen blocking that pawn. But with three pieces attacking the pawn and only 2 pieces defending it, if you don't know about this little tic-tac, it's 3 versus 2, you might think you can get away straight to -3.4. Only move e5. And from there, let's see, best moves, things like c5, h4, queen c2, but they're all, nearly -4 because takes. And it's at this point that Kalman shook my hand. So it was a true combobulating battle as we battled to combobulate our pieces behind our trenches full of pawns to come out the winner, and one with a little tic-tac to win the piece where the trench warfare lines met up. Rejigged pieces from their original battery lines and things, and won the battle of the combobulation. But good game, Kalman, and thanks for one of the final hippos in the Year of the Water Horse. I'll see you guys all next time for I think the final hippo of the Year of the Water Horse will be this time next week. So bye for now.